Hi, my name is Caleb and this is my tutorial on setting up the SEP2020 generic template provided by RPG CarMaker, and also on creating an open X-wheel drive powertrain for it. So first we need to get the generic 2020 template file somehow. You can either get them from RPG or you can get them from Team Swinburne, or alternatively I put them in my personal Dropbox, so hopefully you'll be able to get them some way. Once you've downloaded those files, you can open CarMaker and create a new project. So to do that, you just go File, Project Folder, Create Project, and just call it whatever you want. So we definitely need the CarMaker for Simulink extras, but I generally just check everything anyway. And then in a few seconds we should get our new project created. Once we've got our new project created, we can go ahead and close CarMaker for the moment. And then we need to get our Formula Student generic template, and we need to copy all these files across into our new project. So this is sometimes a bit weird. So my project is in C drive under CarMaker projects, and so I think I'll just copy everything across like this and skip the files that are already there, because there are files relating to which version of CarMaker you've got, and bad things will happen if you override it. So there's nothing in here, so we don't need to copy anything across from there. Plugins, again, nothing. Movie, there's a few things that maybe we might want, I don't know. So I like the model and everything, so that makes it look a bit cooler. Library, we've got nothing. Include, we've got nothing. Doc, we've got the tutorial document, so may as well put that in. In data, we've got quite a lot of stuff we need. So in chassis, just copy all that across. In config, is there anything config? Yep. Skip these files. Miscellaneous. Pick, that's probably just the image of the car, but we probably want it anyway. Could customize that with Team Swinburne colors, that would probably be cool. So this is stuff you really want, is all the roads, particularly the ones that relate to Formula SAE events, like the straight and things like that. It saves a lot of time. So we'll just import all these scripts as well. Skip files, if there's anything similar. I think in sensor, test run, there's some useful stuff in test run. Tire, you definitely want the tire data. Trailer, probably nothing in that, obviously. User driver, no driver. Vehicle, you definitely want the Formula Student vehicle as a baseline. It's better than using a Volkswagen Beetle or whatever. Having to change that. So now that's complete, we can go ahead and open MATLAB. Oops. And once we're in MATLAB, we need to navigate to our CarMaker project and run the cm.m script, which will kind of set everything up for us. So go to where your CarMaker project's stored, open up tutorial, open up source for CarMaker Simulink, go to cm.m and then go run, and it'll prompt you to change folder, and we want to do that. Yep. And so that's run successfully. If you overwrote that script there, that you might get an error because the install path might be different. Now we can open generic.model, and from now on this will be how you open up CarMaker, or the project in CarMaker technically. And once that's opened, assuming cm.m has run, you should be able to see these two icons here. if cm.m hasn't run successfully, you won't be able to see these icons. There'll be like question mark or will just be missing, and that note means that you need to go back and do that. And you can open up CarMaker from here, and this is how you should do it to run a model with Simulink stuff in it. So now, since we've copied all that stuff across, we should be able to go in and find the open X-wheel drive, and that's what we want. We want to use this one because we're going to make an open X-wheel drive powertrain for our vehicle. And so using this thing sets everything up nicely and means that we don't have to do as much ourselves. So now we'll just test to make sure that it's actually CarMaker's running and everything's working. So open up scenario/road and import a new road, and we'll just go for the straight 75 meters. It's nice and easy. Then go parameters and go maneuver, import, and we'll open up the tutorial ones, and so maybe go product examples, example _ formula student, and then go maybe acceleration no clutch, because that will give us the most the fastest acceleration for an electric vehicle, because we don't have a clutch in it. Now we can open up the usual IPG stuff like movie and instruments, and what happens when we run this is we'll get an error. And so these errors, we'll probably get 3 errors. One, we haven't selected a open wheel drive powertrain yet. The other thing is we're missing this entry in, so we need to set in car, we need to set 2 things, or possibly 3 things. Often I get an error relating to the tyres being in the different location. But we need to go to vehicle data set and then miscellaneous. Then under additional parameters, we need to go and enter where our powertrain actually is. And so we'll just do no position, just because that will make the error go away. You can, if you look in the reference manual, be able to find the different options for that. So if we just go open our reference manual, we'll probably be able to find the different, so we've got, so we can say no position, so this is where the drive source is applied. So we've got center differential, front differential, yep. So you can select which one's most applicable to your vehicle, but we're just going no position at the moment. And we also need to select a powertrain. So because we're making our own powertrain, we want to go into powertrain and select general, and then kind of open X-wheel drive standalone, and then our actual powertrain. But because we haven't created one yet, we can't select it, obviously. So we're going to go back into Simulink, MATLAB, and then Simulink, and create our new open X-wheel drive model and add that in. So go to Simulation, Library Browser. This is in the generic model, by the way. And then if CMV is run correctly, you should be able to see CarMaker for Simulink. And then we want to go Create Plugin Model and just drag that in. Sorry, that's wrong. Shouldn't drag that in. Double click that, and then we can create a new plugin model. So you can select the model type. So there's all different types of models, like a brake model, a PT control model for like the ECU, clutch model, whatever. But we want to make Powertrain X-wheel drive. So we can create, we have to name it something, so we'll call it tutorial test, and we need a name. So the model description is a name that will come up in the CarMaker guided user interface. So we'll just do that and create that, and that should open it. And so there's a few features that you can see in our blank model, but for the moment we're just going to compile it. So when you actually, before this will work in, before this will appear in CarMaker, so at the moment if we go back to CarMaker, we can see that we can't actually see our model yet. It's not showing up. It should come up as tutorial test GUI. But you can't see it. So what we need to do is actually compile the model. So we need to go Apps, open up the Apps, go Simulink Coder, and then if we go here, see Code, we should be able to go Build, and that's what we want to do. And hopefully, if everything's run correctly, yep, it's building. It'll take a few seconds. Still building. We should be able to select it in here. We just need to wait a bit. Yep, so it's ready now. It doesn't seem to have given us any errors, so we should be able to go Tutorial Test GUI. So that's how. So basically, that means we can select it in here and we can run our model. So hopefully, whoops. Hopefully, we should be able to run this and not get any errors this time. So waiting. Yep, and see, now our model will run. There's only one catch, is that our vehicle won't move, and that's because we're not actually applying any torque to the wheels because our powertrain is effectively blank. So we just to get the car to actually move, we need to go back to Simulink and actually make something that will, do something. So you can see here we've got a few different features. So we've got these 3 different buses which will allow us to select different things, different variables from CarMaker. So one that you'll probably want to use a lot of is wheel in, and the 4 different wheels, front left, front right, rear left and rear right. And the rotational velocity of them is probably going to feature in whatever model you build, because that kind of affects the torque output. And you can get the number of wheels of the car here. I think that's the number of driven wheels actually, from the CarMaker model. And then you can go in here and get, the gear ratio and stuff like that, the kind of powertrain and things like that, and just select the signals you want. But we don't really need that at the moment. And here's where you select what you actually want to output to CarMaker. So the things you want to set. So in our case, the things that will help us be able to make a car that will actually drive is these different ones here. So we'll just select. So that's wheel out, front left, torque, drive, and this front left torque, and then I'm not sure what that stands for actually, but we need to set that as well apparently, or at least that's what we're taught to do, so we'll do that. Basically this should be the inverse of the torque drive for some reason. It's apparently just an internal function of the way CarMaker works, and so we need to set all these things. So maybe we'll just do a very basic model that will allow our car to drive. We don't need to set all these wheel torques. We could actually just make it rear wheel drive actually. Might make it a bit clearer. Apply, and so now we're just setting the torques to the rear wheels. And so what we'll do is we'll select gas, and then in our super unrealistic model we'll add a constant which will represent the maximum torque of the engine, and product, and we'll times the gas by the maximum torque value. And so this would be for an engine that has an incredibly flat torque curve, an exactly flat torque curve, which doesn't really exist obviously, but this is just a demonstration. So, and what we need is something that will invert our torque for our support, or whatever that stands for. Right click, right click to join things once you've already joined it once. It's a bit annoying. So right click, and so this completes our super simplified model of a powertrain, which isn't really, maybe one day we'll have motors that have incredibly flat torque curves. This is a bug that you'll find in Simulink occasionally. You won't be able to open the C code thing and it will just go back to simulation, and that will be annoying to you. So you just need to go save and then reopen the model what do we call it? Tutorial test, I think. So tutorial test solution, then go C code again, then build. So it's building. So obviously in a real model you would probably have a torque curve of some description, which you can implement with a one-dimensional table, or alternatively you can use a two-dimensional table and take into account maybe some kind of, how would you say, you know, the effect of not having necessarily having a torque, a bit of an input on the, how would you say, effect on the, you know, not putting a torque curve on the actual accelerator. And so, as you can see, our model's now running, but not very quickly. The good thing about CarMaker is that you can just fix that by just bodging the values. So I'll just do a really fast one for our own amusement. Now we compile that again. So really this is just to demonstrate how you actually set up an open X-wheel drive model and how you can connect it to CarMaker, which is can be a bit confusing and frustrating. As you can see, it's not really, and we've got a great improvement in our acceleration so far. So anyway, I guess that's really the whole tutorial, and I hope you have fun making a slightly more realistic powertrain model for your project.